This is part 2, episode 202. Shahao produced a jade cup, the cup extremely small, less than an inch in size. They both had a cup of lightning tribulation liquid handed into each other's hands. This senior is. He recognized Soul Race's ancient ancestor, but he didn't know who the other was. He is Beauty Clan's old clan leader. Soul Race's ancient ancestor said with a smile, accepting the jade cup, downing the 5-colored liquid with a single gulp. He immediately sat down to operate a mysterious art. Beauty Clan's expert didn't move, staying here to offer protection, as to avoid outsiders attacking secretly. The 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor had previously become muddle-headed, rescued by the bit of lightning tribulation liquid he offered up. Now, the 5-colored lightning tribulation liquid was clearly better than the last time, the medicinal effects even greater. That was why, even though it was just a small cup, it displayed tremendous use. In that instant, his body released waves of black haze that turned into dark light, burning here. Who? A great roar sounded. The 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor opened his eyes, then rose up into the air, stirred up and excited. He couldn't help but release a great roar, shaking up the world until groups of mountains collapsed. The curse that had trapped him for so many years was now completely cleansed. Old friend, help protect me. I ought to do the same. Beauty Clan's sect master's voice was trembling a bit. When he saw someone he knew succeed, great waves stirred within his mind as well. A moment later, another great roar sounded, a second sect master neutralizing his curse. Sure. At that moment, all of the great banners and formation stages were put away. This place became calm. These two great sect masters didn't need these things at all. They neutralized their curse, becoming far stronger than in the past. When taking action, they didn't have to feel any misgivings anymore. Fellow Dao friends, please step forward. Shahao said. He rushed towards the great sects that had previously always protected him, smiling towards those great sects he had relations with, preparing to gift out the lightning tribulation liquid. The 8-armed Soul Race, Beauty Race, and others all swarmed over, those people so excited they were shaking, incomparably hopeful. The two great sect masters stopped the chaotic masses, pointing towards the heavenly deities inside to have them walk up. These were the top-level fighting strength, so they should have their curse neutralized first. Soon after, this place overflowed with divine light. A few more heavenly deities immediately appeared, neutralizing their curses. Blood energy surged, shaking up this ancient place. This was a major event. No matter how many years passed, no one would forget that this youngster distributed lightning tribulation liquid, helping the natives neutralize their curses, making many people shed tears of joy. They didn't know how many years they had been waiting for this already, always wishing for the day they could return to normal, no longer bound by mysterious power, and become like those of the outside world. That day was recorded in the annals of history, leaving a heavy mark in this great era. Even though this great era had reached its end, it was still an extremely brilliant event. Everyone, we cannot feel optimistic about the situation yet. Immortal ancient remains have displayed cracks, powerful experts of the outside world might enter. We have to think of ways to have the most powerful people neutralize their curse power first. Soul Race's ancient ancestor spoke. They had to start from those with the greatest strength as to cope with unforeseen developments. After obtaining their clan's agreement, quite a few heavenly deities immediately appeared, all of them sitting in the void, clouds and mists surging. Soon after, their curse power was neutralized. The natives from many great clans who came here received benefits. That is those who were friendly to Shahao, none of them with the problem of their clans, heavenly deities secretly stirring up trouble. Of course, there were a few clans whose eyes were red, but they could only stare helplessly. These races had previously all either attacked Shahao or had disagreements with him, so they were naturally excluded. Soon after, this place erupted with activity. Shahao was crowded at the center, surrounded by a group of heavenly deities. Right now, that youth looked extremely great and divine. He helped a few people with their curses, naturally obtaining their sincere gratitude and support. Not good. Quite a few people who bore hostility felt fear. It was because more and more people gathered in Shahao's surroundings, heavenly deities standing in great numbers. How could they not be scared? In the end, there were even another 2 muddle-headed sect masters who were saved. 4 great sect masters stood together there, making others truly shocked, sighing with astonishment. Little friend, our Centaur clan and ancient fiend sect were always actively taking action to protect little friend. We must ask for help in neutralizing the curse power. The two clans couldn't sit still any longer. They hurriedly walked up, because they seemed to have been forgotten. I have previously said that Centaur clans Ma Yu and ancient fiend races Mo Luo had tried to kill me. So it is impossible for me to give out lightning tribulation liquid unless they die. Shahao calmly said. You want to tyrannically abuse immortal ancient. Do you think everyone will obey your orders? Ma Yu transmitted sound. Just an outsider, by what qualifications do you have to act so unbridled? Lightning tribulation liquid is something everyone in immortal ancient needs. Doing things this way is forcing us. Mo Luo also transmitted sound. This time, Shahao didn't have to speak, nor did the four sect masters say anything. A few heavenly deities directly took action, rushing forward murderously. Those two individuals' expressions changed, immediately fleeing for their lives. In the distance, the cultivators of the 3,000 provinces were all stupefied. Huang gathered such a great amount of power just like that. Regardless of whether it was Yunxi, Yu Chan, or the others acquainted with Shahao, they were all shocked. This kind of force, if brought out from immortal ancient, would definitely stir up a great storm. It was because this power was still growing. As for facing tribulation, the reason why Shahao obtained comparatively more lightning tribulation liquid was because the effects of the lightning tribulation liquid far exceeded that of the past, helping many people neutralize their curses. At this moment, he directly gifted a bit of the lightning tribulation liquid to the 8-armed soul race, beauty races, true deities and others. Little friend, do not be like this, it's too much of a waste. Soul race's heavenly deity urged, hoping to save a few more heavenly deities and make their strength greater. It was because if there was conflict with those of the outside world, they would be able to protect their clansmen. Soul Clan, Beauty Clan and the others had previously protected me sincerely. This precious liquid has to be distributed. Shahao said. This was something he had to do. Those close to him were special. The clans that had previously made a great effort to protect him all obtained special care. When he did this, there would be even more people who came, hoping for the next time he gifted out lightning tribulation liquid. Sure enough, this triggered a commotion. More and more people rushed over, experts filling this place like clouds. There were heavenly deities everywhere, surrounding him within. This kind of alliance, this enormous strength, it will definitely stir up a terrifying storm in the 3,000 provinces. Someone sighed with amazement. This instance of lightning tribulation affected too much. Immortal Ancient's natives were all shocked because of this. As the years went by, who would be willing to step onto a path of muddle-headedness? Who dared to breathe under the shadows of death? No one wanted to have a curse tangling around them, all of them wishing for freedom and light. Now that there was this type of opportunity laid out before them, all clans naturally flocked over. Shahao became the center of attention, surrounded by everyone, all eyes concentrated on him. Of course, it wasn't every clan that sincerely wished him well, with some just putting on an appearance for the sake of acquiring lightning tribulation liquid. It was because the various clans were all scheming inwardly. If Immortal Ancient remains split open, linking up with the outside world, once the great sects outside rushed in, there will definitely be great problems. They already realized that Shahao's relationship with some of the inheritances of the outside world wasn't good, not ending until one side died. That was why a few sects' heavenly deities acted amicably on the surface, but it was unknown how they would really act at the crucial moment. Of course, there were a few great clans who truly bound themselves to the same war chariot as Shahao. It was because they still wanted to save their clansmen, wishing well for Shahao's future, believing that as long as he continued living, anything was possible. This was a type of gamble. If the sect masters outside slaughtered their way inside, a great clash might break out. However, if they could protect Shahao, they would obtain generous reciprocation that would definitely be astonishing. Forget about even more powerful lightning tribulation liquid, Shahao alone was worth the clan's protection. 3 strands of immortal energy surrounded his body. If he became a sect master level figure, who would be his opponent? Shahao naturally knew that there were some who were seeking personal gain. Even though there were large amounts of experts around him, quite a few of them heavenly deities, there weren't that many true comrades. A cold smile appeared on the corner of his lips. Whoever brings back Ma Yu and Mo Luo's head, I can give the rest of the lightning tribulation liquid to their clans. Even though he had already given out quite a bit of lightning tribulation liquid, he still had a portion on him. Apart from the bit he gave the 8-armed soul race and beauty race, the remainder was given to those who truly exerted themselves. If they wanted lightning tribulation liquid, they had to prove their sincerity. There were some who already went out to chase after those two heavenly deities before, but most of them returned, more of a performance than actually investing any strength. Shahao remembered those who truly chased after them. Right now, he threw out this bait. A few people hesitated, but some didn't hesitate, once again chasing out. Centaur clan and Ancient Fiend clan's expressions changed, finding it difficult to calm down. Conflicted expressions appeared on their faces. Those were their heavenly deities. They didn't wish to see the two of them die. At the same time, there were some who inwardly cursed those two. If not for Ma Yu and Mo Luo's greed, intercepting Shahao to seize his immortal seed, how could it have ended like this? That day, Immortal Ancient erupted with disturbances. Shahao left for Soul Island. Right now, he completely stood together with the eight-armed Soul race. Dao brothers, are you all really going to resign yourselves to this? It is just an outsider who criticizes our Immortal Ancient natives, relying on his lightning tribulation liquid to threaten the different clans and give out orders. How can we listen to him? That day, there were people who visited different sects, contacting them to join together in dealing with Shahao. It was clear that these were all those who bore hostility against Shahao. Powerful conflict had previously broken out between them, for example, the descendants of the 7 heavenly deities Shahao had previously killed. There were other experts similar to the Silver Blood Devil Tree race. How could these people obtain lightning tribulation liquid from Shahao? That was why they did everything they could to incite disharmony and sow enmity against Huang. During this time, Ma Yu and Mo Luo even more so secretly visited a few ancient lands, hoping to wake up some slumbering sect masters and have them move out. Huang still has lightning tribulation liquid on him that can save your distinguished self. Having him in your hands is the same as grasping everything, making the clan flourish again. They were extremely directly, telling them that the curse can be neutralized, now no longer an issue. However, Huang walks too closely with Beauty race and the 8-armed Soul race. Based on their arrangements, there is no way to make them leave, only by forcefully seizing and capturing Huang. The places Ma Yu and Mo Luo sought out were all ancient lands that carried grudges, with the 8-armed Soul race and Beauty race, all for the sake of stirring up conflict and hoping that they could restrain the two sect masters. They offered the temptation that they could kill Huang and directly acquire the lightning tribulation liquid, not having to die rigidly like a tree. It was because they had a substitute, for example Ning Chuan, who they were proactively contacting. A storm was brewing in Immortal Ancient, all sides unable to remain calm, all because of the lightning tribulation liquid. This led to the awakening of a few sect masters from their slumber. There were too many natives, clans towering in large numbers. However, sect masters weren't that many, if not dead, they went made or muddle-headed. Only a few could still appear. This was a violent commotion. Shahao naturally heard the news, his eyes becoming ice cold. Those two had to die, actually daring to add fuel to the flame. That day, the 8-armed Soul race's ancient ancestor personally moved. Those two were nothing more than heavenly deities, not placed in his eyes at all. No one expected them to actually dare stir up conflict, angering the elder. A great murderous intent surged, spreading through Immortal Ancient. There were some who saw sect masters clash, fighting above barren lands, fighting until the heavens collapsed and earth split. There was actually someone who could resist the 8-armed Soul race's ancient ancestor, exceeding everyone's expectations. However, after the curse was eliminated, the Soul race's number 1 expert's strength became even more terrifying, able to take action without any restraint, winning over his opponent. Then, a sect master bled. After his spiritual body was killed, this matter immediately triggered a huge commotion. That person disguised his spiritual body as the true body to tangle around the 8-armed Soul race's ancient ancestor, his true body unexpectedly already secretly charging murderously towards Soul Island, truly about to attack and cut off Shahao. Seize his lightning tribulation liquid. Only, he miscalculated. Beauty Clan's sect master was overseeing this place, and the 2 sect masters rumored to have long left also appeared, still staying here as guests. Everyone knew that Shahao saved a total of 4 sect masters. In the end, there were 3 here. Hong. An intense battle broke out. This person's blood dyed the heavens. After losing an arm, he broke out with heavy injuries. The 8-armed Soul race's ancient ancestor, after killing that person's spiritual body, found traces of Ma Yu and Mo Luo. He displayed power even from endless distance away, blasting their bodies until they split apart, almost exploding. However, he still didn't act and deal the killing blow in the end, instead handling the task to the heavenly deities, who had been chasing after them all this time. Those individuals felt grateful. With those two heads, they could exchange them for lightning tribulation liquid. No, you all cannot be like this. We are heavenly deities, all immortal ancient natives, how could you do this? The two of them were horrified, couldn't help but cry out like this. However, those heavenly deities' expressions were all cold, long aware that these two had previously forfeited a great opportunity out of greed. They looked down on these two, suppressing and killing them without mercy. When the two heads were brought to Soul Island and displayed before Shahao, he gave out the lightning tribulation liquid as promised. This matter's effects were great, the reactions of various clans different, all of their minds jumping. This was especially the case for the geniuses of the 3,000 provinces, all of them breaking out in cold sweat. Those were heavenly deities. Yet Shahao didn't even have to take action himself, the heads brought before him just like that. Everyone trembled in fear. Right now, who dare defend Huang? If they truly made him discontent, just the slightest suggestion from him might have people fighting for his sake. That day, Jiyu Jianyun withdrew from Immortal Ancient, leaving quickly and decisively from this place. An ancient king, a powerful individual, who had previously crossed lightning tribulation, ran, just like that, not even leaving behind a single word. This made even more people's hearts tremble, feeling stupefied. Seal up the entrance, don't let that little 6 kid leave. Shahao said. When these words sounded, it triggered a huge uproar. Everyone knew that Huang was going to take action against 6-crown King Ning Chuan, already showing this type of intention. He was about to act decisively. Sure enough, there were heavenly deities who immediately walked out to search for Ning Chuan's whereabouts. Everyone knew that if they wanted to obtain lightning tribulation liquid from Shahao, they had to display their sincerity. Even if they didn't kill Ning Chuan, they could still find his whereabouts and tell it to Huang. Of course, there were some who had long tied themselves to Shahao's side, wishing to directly kill Ning Chuan, searching everywhere for him. Hong. Deep into the night, someone attacked Soul Island, almost breaking into Shahao's place of seclusion. Fortunately, there were sect masters overseeing the place, stopping their attack. Shahao frowned. The situation was a bit complex and dangerous. Even though in the eyes of the 3,000 provinces cultivators, he currently wielded tremendous power, a 20-year-old youngster already enough to order heavenly deities of all sides, he himself knew that he was currently propped up on a stove and roasted, things not all that optimistic. Once Immortal Ancient opened and the sect masters of the outside world slaughtered their way inside, he would most likely be in danger. Aside from this, there were other sect masters in this ancient land, for example, the one that had just attacked secretly, targeting the lightning tribulation liquid he had on him. It was because they bore enmity against the Soul clan, so they had no choice but to forcefully seize him. If they continued like this, a slight carelessness might result in danger to his life. There was good news as well. The next day, a sect master paid a visit, already at the brink of muddle-headedness, asking Shahao for help. There were now 5 sect masters that stood at his side. There are 2 or 3 sect masters that cannot be converted into friends, related to the heavenly deities you killed, close friends with the silver blood devil tree race's ancient ancestor. Beauty race's number 1 expert said. Shahao frowned and said, I do not want to remain in Soul Island. Are there any places that can stop the steps of sect master level figures? There are a few places, but it's too dangerous. Soul race's ancient ancestor said. However, when Shahao heard him describe those places in detail, he was immediately moved. He wanted to search for opportunities to begin with and seize natural luck. It was now the perfect time to go on his way. Why did he enter Immortal Ancient? To temper himself and transform, search for all types of great treasures. He received news about a few secret places from the sect masters' mouths. Those areas were quite strange, the space not stable. It would be dangerous for cultivators at any cultivation realm. There is a heavenly deity tree. I have to go. Shahao said. When he received news that there was a heavenly deity tree in one of the places, and that another place had the cave of an immortal, he was immediately moved. He had to pay them a visit no matter what. He had a feeling that he was going to leave Immortal Ancient soon. Before leaving, he had to carry out a final sweep of this place, seizing all possible natural luck. Sai only saw a single stalk of immortal medicine, that white tortoise carrying immortal. If I captured it, that would have been good. This was Shahao's desire. He really wanted a stalk of long life medicine, bringing it out from immortal ancient. Let me tell you a secret. This world has 4 heavenly deity trees, their attributes different. If they combine and produce the mother tree, they will become a true long life medicine. Beauty Race's sect master said. What, there is this type of saying? Shahal was stupefied. Correct, it is divided into earth, fire, wind, and water. It was originally an unmatched immortal medicine, but in the end, it was divided into 4 stalks by someone with tremendous magical force. Another sect master added. Shahal thought for a bit. He had previously seen one that was together with the white tortoise carrying immortal. Now, he seemed to have obtained some information about another heavenly deity tree. How could he not be moved? When immortal ancient is cut open, that white tortoise will definitely appear. I need to think of a way to get that tree from it, Shahal said. Reporting, Ning Chuan's whereabouts have been found, currently being pursued by several heavenly deities. Suddenly, someone ascended onto the island and reported this information. Shahal originally wanted to leave, but when he obtained this piece of information, he immediately became extremely pleased, saying, I'll get rid of him first. Even Ning Chuan was being hunted down, the effects of this matter tremendous, shaking up immortal ancient. In the past, inside the immortal medicine garden, he had seen all life earth as well, grasped by the white tortoise carrying immortal. Back then, Shahal had previously suspected that the long life medicine might be produced by a great immortal king. However, there was no proof, only speculation. Now, he saw quite a bit of all life earth before him, enough to compare to the amount in immortal medicine garden, the scope about 1 jong. Don't tell me that there is a female immortal queen buried underneath. Shahal said softly, his mind becoming a bit nervous. He already walked forward, facing this expanse of divine earth. All life earth was like sand, each granule sparkling, suffused with blue light, and erupting with dazzling brilliance, creating a hazy expanse. Smoke rose like multicolored clouds, overflowing with multicolored light and essence. Regardless of how one looked at it, it was extremely pure and holy, not like earth, but instead like the combination of all types of precious gems that were crushed and then later stored here. Shahal used magical force to separate the all-life earth, digging into it bit by bit, wishing to see what exactly was underneath. Suddenly, after undoing a bit of sand, he saw a snow-white jade foot. It wasn't large, but sparkling and pure white like a jade sculpture. Fucking hell. Even though he had previously guessed that there might be a corpse buried underneath, when he truly dug something out, he was still startled. Shahal carefully touched it. It was soft and gentle, seemingly still possessing heat, full of elasticity. He couldn't help but sigh. All life earth was astonishing after all, able to prevent a creature from decaying. Even after all this time, it still didn't rot, still looking like it was full of life. Was it really an immortal king? In the present world, there weren't any immortals anymore, there was no way anyone could reach that step. There would never be that type of person seen again. There are no living immortals, but being able to take a look at a dead immortal isn't bad either. Shahal said to himself. He wanted to see what an immortal king that was still intact was like, what kind of places they were different in. Only, he was a bit suspicious. This immortal king didn't release any terrifying aura, nor were there any world-shocking fluctuations that were released. It was a bit different from the immortal corpses he saw before. Everyone speculated that Ning Chuan was in a weak state, greatly affected by holy sacrifice, or else normal heavenly deities wouldn't dare chase after him. Shahal knew that this person used the sainthood to break into the holy sacrifice realm, becoming a divine king. Cannot allow him to escape. Chase. Shahal was in a rush. This was the best chance to kill this person. Otherwise, it would definitely be a great disaster. Are you going to personally take action? Beauty Clan's ancient ancestors' eyes moved, speaking like this. Shahal's mind was moved, revealing a look of surprise. I ask several seniors to head out as well to prevent him from getting away. Fine. Let's go and take a look. 2 sect masters were going to follow along and take a look to see what exactly was going on. They continued without stopping to rest, hurrying over to a small world to chase after Ning Chuan. That day, immortal ancient was thrown into chaos. The small worlds all began to clamor with noise, killing energy surging. Heavenly deities were chasing after Ning Chuan, stirring up great waves. The white-clothed 6-crown king, how shocking was this? Someone known to be unmatched in his cultivation realm from past to present, never having met someone who was a worthy opponent among his peers. However now, he was in such a sorry state, being chased after by others. There were news that he was originally cultivating in seclusion, but he was unexpectedly discovered by others while in a weaker state, and that was why he ended up being chased by a few people for over hundreds of thousands of li. Huang arrived, going to personally kill Ning Chuan. That young supreme being who crossed heavenly tribulation and became a divine king is going to descend, about to settle his grudge with Ning Chuan. A major event is going to happen after all. Many people were discussing among themselves and full of expectation. They wanted to watch these two powerful individuals fight a decisive battle to the death. However, most people didn't see things in Ning Chuan's favor. It was because even though he was in the holy sacrifice realm, he still didn't cross heavenly tribulation again. So this bit already made him a bit inferior. The most important thing was that he was currently in a weak state. If he couldn't immediately recover, Ning Chuan would undoubtedly die. Who could withstand Huang's power? That was why the timing in his recovery was crucial. There were rumors going around the outside world that the white-clothed six-crown king was going to die, that this supreme being with fine jade-like skin and a face that was even prettier than that of women was going to fall. What a pity it is with six-crown king. Could it be that he is going to fall here? He reigned victorious in 6 worlds, known to be an undefeated individual. This type of end is just too lamentable. Even the cultivators of the 3,000 provinces were all shocked, all of them revealing complex expressions. A majestic and heroic figure in their hearts had been smashed, making it difficult for them to calm down. Everyone felt that Ning Chuan might be finished. Appeared. Ning Chuan was locked onto by someone, appearing in green spirit realm. Not good, he is undoubtedly dead. He is now being followed, his true body completely locked onto, unable to flee any longer. News transmitted outwards, leaving all sides shaken. Cultivators of all sides swarmed over. Shahao's group slaughtered their way over, their goal to end Ning Chuan's life. Hong. Suddenly, a terrifying fluctuation rushed out. There was actually someone trying to kill Shahao. Sect master level fluctuations, incredibly intense. In that instant, everyone became stunned, looking towards the sky with stupefied expressions. That was a hand that hid heaven and earth, incredibly large, several thousand li in size. It covered everything beneath it, including all of the spectators. That type of aura was too terrifying, powerful to the point of leaving others feeling suffocated. An unmatched sect master appeared, coming here to kill Shahao, suddenly displaying a vicious attack. It's Ning Chuan. Someone cried out. It was because that sect master appeared next to Ning Chuan, clearly traveling together with him all this time. At this moment, many people's fine hairs stood on end, breaking out into a cold shiver. This was a whole different situation on its own. Ning Chuan was conspiring together with a sect master, using his body as bait to guide Shahao over. Then, the most powerful sect master did everything he could to attack, trying to kill Huang in this way. The ones who were saying how Six-Crown King was going to fall earlier all became stupefied. Now, they woke up, realizing that this was the burial ground prepared for Shahao. Correct, Huang hid in Soul Island, not only having a few sect masters, but also the great mountain protecting formation, difficult to kill him. Now, it's different. The snake was drawn out from its hole, and now it was going to be killed. A great hand covered the sky, covering Shahao's location. Suddenly, in that instant, a sharp sword radiance rushed towards the sky, hacking towards that large hand, stopping the sect master's might. Heng. The expert in the sky was without fear, and there were others assisting him as well. A cold snort sounded, and then a golden war spear appeared, piercing down from beyond the heavens, the aura ridiculously powerful. It also rushed murderously at Shahao. It wasn't a single sect master that was like this. For the sake of killing Huang, the other side made ample preparations. Hong. Then, this place erupted, 3 great sect masters appearing in the sky, including that silver blood devil tree race's ancient ancestor. There were 2 sect masters that protected Shahao below. It was clear that their strength didn't match up. Yi, not right, hurry and leave. Suddenly, a shout sounded from above. A sect master grabbed Ning Chuan, quickly fleeing into the distance. Chase. There was someone that released a shout on the ground. In the blink of an eye, 3 great sect masters appeared. Wasn't there information before that there were only 2 that came out with him? Why did all 5 appear? The silver blood devil tree race's ancient ancestor was furious. He invited helpers to suppress and kill Shahao, ending the 8-armed soul race and other clans' hope. Who could have predicted that things would change like this? The skies, a rain of blood scattered. There were sect masters that were injured. The three great sect masters were fleeing in a sorry state, not daring to stay here to fight to the death, quickly breaking out. Shahao appeared indifferent. Before leaving, Beauty Clan's sect master already warned him, and that was why he brought two sect masters to follow him. In reality, the great experts secretly all followed along. A single carelessness, and something unexpected might have happened. Shahao released a soft sigh. It was a bit of a pity that they couldn't capture Ning Chuan. The other party wasn't discovered, but rather leaked out his own whereabouts on purpose, colluding with sect masters, guiding him over. I'll kill you next time, Shahao said to himself. Ning Chuan stepped into the holy sacrifice realm, his methods heaven-reaching. With sect masters sheltering him, if he deliberately went into hiding, it would be difficult to find him. He could only wait for another opportunity now. Soon afterwards, Shahao secretly went on his way, rushing towards those place of great opportunities. This was an ancient land, the ground not covered by grass, no bodies of water. It was a great desert that lacked vitality. It was to the extent where not even a sun could be seen, constantly engulfed in great winds that blew sand and stone everywhere. There were a few cracks and a few black holes in the void that were currently blowing rarely seen black astral winds. These winds could split apart true deities, extremely terrifying. He received information about the heavenly deity tree a long time ago, news that he obtained from Burial Realm, to the extent where he even had a damaged ancient diagram. Today, he obtained proof after all. The void in this place was unstable with another heaven and earth within it. These astral winds blew out from within. Shahao stepped forward. He made his way inside, entering through a black void black hole, entering a strange place. As soon as he entered, there was a great void crack that hacked over, releasing loud noises as it flew over. It was as Beauty Race's sect master said, this place too dangerous, the space unstable. When normal deities entered, there was a danger of being torn to pieces at every turn. Shahao's flesh had experienced the most powerful heavenly tribulation's baptism, now entering the holy sacrifice realm. He was a divine king, so he was naturally without fear. He made his way over, rushing into the depths of this ancient land, seeing all types of ruined and desolate scenes. The great earth was scorched black, as if it had been burned through. It was unknown just how much endless time had passed, now without even a single blade of grass growing. Shahao moved forward. Hong! Raging flames surged, making even his skin want to rupture. This was solar flame essence, incomparably resplendent, flourishing with golden yellow light. He hurriedly supported his only heavenly passage to resist. This type of flame was extremely terrifying, but he had experienced the baptism of heavenly Tao flames, long adapting to it, so he didn't encounter a disaster here. Otherwise, normal people definitely wouldn't be able to hold on if they entered. Along the way, he encountered all types of dangers. He was walking through a ruined ancient land. He truly began to doubt whether there was a heavenly deity tree here. I arrived. Finally, he saw concentrated lightning interweaving in the void, berserk thunder rumbling as it hacked down. This was a strange place full of berserk lightning that carried the attributes of heavenly tribulation. When Shahao entered, he immediately understood. This place was too strange, some places having normal lightning, but some guiding heavenly tribulation that matched one's cultivation realm. What kind of place was this? It was too terrifying. If others entered, a single mistake would result in the death of body and spirit, simply impossible to withstand. Meanwhile, he crossed the most powerful lightning tribulation, so he naturally could make it through. Lightning poured down, filling everything between heaven and earth, rumbling as it crashed down. In this place, Shahao saw a lot of shining fine powder on the ground. Upon closer inspection, he discovered that this was bone powder. Heavenly deity bone powder. One could imagine what kind of disaster those who recklessly entered this place encountered, what kind of miserable deaths they experienced. It wasn't that every inch of space could guide heavenly tribulation lightning here, there was normal lightning as well. However, if one wanted to take advantage of this and enter, one would have to rely on luck. It wasn't something that could be predicted. No wonder not many people, since the ancient times, were able to pick heavenly deity fruits from this place. Shahao said to himself. This was just too difficult. This region was extremely vast. Shahao moved quickly, resisting the lightning tribulation, already traveling several thousand li. After making it through this region, the clothes on his body long turned into ashes, his skin slightly charred black, but it didn't hinder him too greatly. After a bit of rest, Shahal continued on his way. Finally, he saw plants. The earth was no longer scorched black, no flames or lightning radiance. He saw a verdant and lush color. Unfortunately, he didn't see any heavenly deity trees here. After strolling around this green area, he was met with the separation of lightning again. Really is weird. Why is there so much lightning with the characteristics of heavenly tribulation? Could it be that a battle in immortal ancient great era ruined heaven and earth, bringing problems even to heavenly tribulation? Shahal charged forward again. 2 days later, he finally sensed a trace of abnormality. Up ahead towered a great mountain. It was incomparably massive, as if it was as tall as the heavens, reaching past the clouds. There was the aura of a powerful deity. There were plants here, yet there was a lack of powerful individuals, so this naturally made this place extremely strange. Shahal rushed into the sky, passing the cloud layer, seeing what was above the mountain. He immediately widened his eyes, releasing blazing radiance. He was immediately filled with a true feeling of happiness. There was an ancient tree that was upright and strong like a dragon, even thicker than the one he saw in Immortal Medicine Garden. The branches were resplendent, the rays of light dazzling. This was a heavenly deity tree. It was extremely tall, yet it was different from Immortal Medicine Garden's stalk. Its leaves were an earthen yellow, and when it swayed back and forth, it would be suffused with golden radiance. When the radiance flickered to its most brilliant, it would appear as if this was an ancient tree created from suns. The golden color carried a blazing radiance, tens of millions of golden leaves fluttered and rustled about. What made Shahal the most happy was that it was full of flowers, moreover many of them, not just a few like what he had anticipated. Apart from this, upon closer inspection, he unexpectedly saw a few fruits hiding beneath the tree's branches and leaves, shining like suns. Even though there weren't many of them, this was enough to leave him completely shocked. Those were heavenly deity fruits. This was an ancient divine tree with flowers and fruits. It was actually truly found by him. Youngster, you are quite the lucky individual, actually reaching this place. The ancient tree spoke. It was clear that this heavenly deity tree wasn't an ordinary medicinal herb, but a true powerful creature. Just the fruit it produced alone was enough to make one become a heavenly deity, let alone itself. Senior and I have previously been acquainted. Shahal was extremely polite. He already saw that this ancient tree was much more powerful than the stalk he saw in Immortal Ancient Garden, because that tree suffered serious injuries, the trunk about to break. The tree before him was like a dormant golden heavenly dragon. Sigh, the heavens truly are unfair, your strength already comparable to that of heavenly deities at such a small age, while I've cultivated for endless years in vain, unable to break through. The ancient tree said with a sigh. As a heavenly deity tree, it could produce great Tao fruit, making others become heavenly deities. How heaven-defying was this? However, it was restricted by the world itself, cultivation extremely difficult for it. Its road had long been broken, unable to become a true unmatched expert. Right now, he was just at the peak of heavenly deity level, a single foot in the sect master level. However, generally speaking, it was still more fortunate than other divine medicines, still having powerful strength. One had to bear in mind that regardless of whether it was the void sky divine vine, tribulation crossing divine lotus, or other divine medicines, or even the white tortoise carrying immortal, a long life medicine, even though they possessed heaven-defying medicinal nature, it was impossible for them to cultivate on a deep level, their strength not great. Even though we can cultivate, we are restricted from birth, unable to achieve long life. Meanwhile, Senior is a heavenly deity, yet has existed since the ancient past, great age continuous, able to watch as heavenly talents return to the yellow earth one after another, truly transcending above. Shahal said. You have quite the way with words. My situation is nothing more than this, the bitterness I am aware of. If not for being planted in tribulation earth, I would have long been seized by another and planted like divine medicine, said the golden ancient tree. It was several dozen jong in height, its branches lush and flourishing, entirely golden in color. There was a type of divine aura, its shining leaves supporting the clouds. It's nothing much. Since you could come here, then the two of us are brought together by fate. I will gift you a heavenly deity fruit, help you stabilize your Tao and become a heavenly deity. It spoke like this. Shahal's mind was burning with passion, he naturally wished to break through as quickly as possible as well. Time didn't wait for him, the more powerful he was, the better. It was because he knew that chaotic times were coming, and only one's own cultivation was reliable, only then could he live. He tactfully asked whether he could obtain a few more fruits. It was because he saw that this tree had more than one or two of those golden fruities. As luck would have it, there is only one fruit that is mature. The others, if not only flowers, are still underripe, useless if taken. The golden ancient tree shook its head, its branches releasing hualala sounds. Shahal humblingly asked what kind of effects there would be after eating the heavenly deity fruit. At the very least, it would prevent 100 disasters from invading, dirt and gas not approach the body, said the ancient tree. Apart from being able to immediately become a heavenly deity, there were these wondrous effects too. What does senior mean by 100 disaster from invading? Shahal asked. It can avoid lightning, stop flame tribulation, resist water calamity, the heavenly deity tree explained one after another. When Shahal heard this, the expression on his face immediately moved. It could avoid lightning tribulation, how could this be okay? He had to cross tribulation in every single cultivation realm, use it to temper his body. Senior, that lightning tribulation. Oh, I forgot, this great era rarely has lightning tribulation. These medicinal effects wouldn't affect anything, one does not need to worry. The ancient tree said. How can I not worry? I need to cross tribulation. Shahal said. What? You said you crossed heavenly tribulation. The heavenly deity tree was shocked. He thought that Shahal was lucky, unexpectedly entering from the outside world and not entering by resisting the heavenly tribulation. I already crossed heavenly tribulation 3 times. Shahal nodded. In that instant, he felt a powerful divine consciousness sweep over. Then, this ancient tree reached out a golden branch, placing it onto his shoulder. What powerful flesh! A primordial spirit that has experienced the cleansing of lightning tribulation. The heavenly deity tree immediately felt a different aura upon contact, feeling greatly shocked. Shahal didn't resist, because he had strength comparable to a heavenly deity. In addition, he saw that this old tree didn't carry any killing intent. Stone Village had so many people, for example, if those uncles and companions all ate a heavenly deity fruit, not only would they become strong, they could also protect and watch over each other, not having to watch as their loved ones aged and died one after another. As for his own grandfather, the great demonic god, Shahal believed that he could cultivate to the heavenly deity level on his own. If he really couldn't, he could naturally take a heavenly deity fruit as well. That was why at this time, he stared at the ancient tree. Unknowingly when, his eyes already released a green light of desire, truly wishing he could immediately dig this tree up. Youngster, what are you thinking? The heavenly deity tree began to shiver from being stared at. He always felt like this youngster wasn't of the kind sort, making it feel incredibly uneasy. Senior, the outside world is going to end up in chaos. The Archaic Alliance, Desolate Border, vast uninhabited region, and others, every single one of them are starting to erupt with chaos, the world about to enter disorder. This place of yours will no longer be a pure land. The space immortal ancient remains reside in has already developed a large crack, about to be linked up to the outside world. Senior has to make preparations. Shahal said. What are you saying? What happened to the outside world? The heavenly deity tree revealed a serious expression, carefully asking. When it understood the situation from Shahal's mouth, the old face that appeared on the trunk was incredibly overcast. These types of things happened in the outside world, immortal ancient even about to no longer exist. That meant that this ancient place that wasn't disturbed by the outside world would most likely become connected to the 3,000 provinces. It would be good if there was a path to that place of long life. The heavenly deity tree said to itself. However, it knew that this was most likely unrealistic. Senior, the younger generation wishes to lead the way, inviting Senior to go out. Shahal said, feeling more and more passionate. With just your strength at the holy sacrifice realm, how will you protect me? There is definitely a group of sect masters outside. When the time comes, there will definitely be someone to seize me, plant me inside of a medicine garden. The heavenly deity tree said. Comparable to willow deity. Shahal's heart was pounding. He had a type of feeling that if the willow deity truly revived, it should possess this type of might. The person the cauldron was carrying descended in the all-life earth to recover, because this earth can prevent one from rotting, nurturing all life and objects. The witch came to this conclusion. Shahal nodded. This should be the case. Did you see the owner of the cauldron? What kind of appearance did it have? Shahal asked. Extremely blurry, not easy to say. The first time, it seemed to be female, but fragments of time danced about, and then she became indistinct. Then, it seemed like I saw a male. The witch said without certainty. She felt that the cauldron was extremely sinister, as if it came from the past, making even time become unstable. It was difficult to say what kind of feeling it was. Hong. Immediately afterwards, that drop of blood became even more astonishing, releasing a sky-tearing fluctuation. In addition, it released waves of crying sounds, shaking heaven and earth. Vaguely, Shahao seemed to have heard a magnificent army with thousands of men storm past, shouts of war shaking the heavens. Moreover, in that instant, he saw a male, not extremely clear, but he seemed to be looking right at him face to face, standing tall from tens of thousands of realms away. He was like a heavenly emperor. Shahao's gaze was like lightning as he stared at that person. He himself also surged with a wave of mysterious energy. The witch was shocked, because at that moment, she unexpectedly couldn't approach, pushed out. That aura was too terrifying, able to easily make heavenly deities and others bow down. This video will end here.